Oh.
Hey guys, I hope you're hungry. Welcome back to Full Incense. My name is Jericho, and today I'm joined by the Iceman.
Hello again.
So today we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna talk about 11/22/63, the book and the show, and the differences between the two, and why the show, while we see it as very well made and well done, was a big disappointment.
Yeah, and I want to preface this with I'm not one of those people who just blindly says, oh, the book is so much better than the movie, or in this case, the show. It just happens to be, in this case,
apt.
The case.
So, also as a preface, spoilers for sure. We're going to talk about the whole plot,
Yes.
But the book has been out for like 3 years, and the show has been done for a month. So, I think the statute of limitations is pretty much passed on that anyway. So, I think both of us love the book. Iceman introduced me to it, and it's, I think, both of our pretty much favorite book, or at least amongst them, right?
Oh, absolute favorite. Absolute favorite. Yeah, I was actually turned on to it by none other than Seth MacFarlane of, the guy who makes Family Guy.
Oh.
I don't know him personally. I follow him
On the Twitter.
on Twitter, yes. And he said that I should read it. Or anyone should.
He DM'd you. Hey, Iceman. give this a peep. Why does he talk like that? We know his voice. It's Brian.
That's
Hey. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm running around in circles.
I'm just killing people, not helping out the team in any other way. So, yeah, hopefully everybody listening to this has read or seen it, and if you haven't, go ahead and do it. There are going to be spoilers.
Yeah.
A little bit of background. It's about a guy who goes back in time to stop the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah. Pause the video. Read the 1,000-page book.
Read the actual book.
Watch the 8 hours of television.
We'll wait.
So yeah, it's a high school teacher finds a portal to the past that allows him to go back to a specific date in the 1960s, and they decide, he and the man who originally discovered the time portal decide that the best use of it is to go back to stop the Kennedy assassination, because the other guy believes, and our main character Jake is led to believe, that it would lead to the Vietnam War never happening.
Right, or at least not as severely as it did, because when LBJ became president after Kennedy, he kind of accelerated it tremendously.
Right. Hey, LBJ, how many kids you gonna kill today, and all that.
Exactly.
That's what they said?
I had never heard that.
Yeah, that was like a real, like, protest chant.
Oh.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
I mean, I'm sad. I'm upset with myself that I didn't know that.
Yeah, Iceman is a billion times more of a history buff than I would ever be. I probably wouldn't have even checked the book out if not for his recommendation. So what makes the book so good is the antagonist is the past itself, because you quickly learn about the past being obdurate, is the word they like to use for it, which means that it doesn't want to be changed. The events have transpired as they were meant to transpire by fate or destiny or whatever you want to call it. So whenever Jake tries to try anything, the past fights back. So as sort of a proof of concept, his first mission is to go back and stop the murder of a friend of his family when that friend was a child. And like even just doing that, like the day of, like Jake gets really sick, and just everything that could go wrong does go wrong. And since the stopping the assassination of JFK is a much bigger deal in the grand scheme of things than one family in Maine, then it's a much bigger ordeal. And the meat of the book is he comes back in the year 1960, right? Or is it 61?
In the book, it's 58. In the TV show, it's 60 or 61.
It's a week beforehand.
Just to cut some time out of there.
Right. So he's back in the past for years, just like basically waiting to stop the assassination. So he has to have like a cover story. Oh.
Wow.
That's just how good we are. We're not even paying attention.
I know.
What team are we on? What Mad Men are we playing with?
Wait. No, never mind. I'm sorry. I didn't see your name on there at all. So, are we playing something completely different?
So that's where a lot of the conflicts and everything with the story happen, is just the people he meets in the past and trying to make himself believable and legitimate and planning and training for the day in question. And it makes for a very engrossing, incredible read. They do a lot. It's a lot. I mean, it's written by Stephen King, but it's not. I wouldn't call it a straight horror book by any means. It's just like an adventure.
Not at all. Yeah.
A drama. And there's. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Like there's, there is scary parts though, especially like tension is more. Like just like the feeling of foreboding is really well pronounced throughout the book.
Mm-hmm. It's just. It's a beautiful story.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the best word I can come up with for it. Like you really, in the parts that aren't super exciting, because like Jericho just said, he's there for years, so he's got a lot to do. There's parts where he's just living in the past,
mm-hmm.
and it's like you feel like I didn't live in that time, obviously, but like you feel like you're there.
Right.
And it's my favorite thing. It's wonderful.
And it goes into a lot of detail in good ways about like the food he has and the music he listens to. Like it's just cool. It's very well put together. I mean, that has always been one of Stephen King's strengths, and to some people his weaknesses is like the level of detail he's willing to go to. But I think it was really important and really brings the story together in this case because setting is time and place, and in this case they go so well hand in hand with the important what they're trying to get across with the story, that they deserve the attention that Stephen King paid them.
Right.
So the show
it's tough to describe the show. I feel like if I had never read the book, it would have been one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yep. And I would honestly
capture a lot of that.
And I would honestly say, watch the show first, maybe, or it doesn't really. Like Science Century, my wife watched the show first and is now listening to the book on audiobook because we made it clear to her like how different it was than what it should have been. And so she's having a really good experience. And I mean, yeah, it's spoiled, like you'll know what's going to happen, but it's so different. And that's one reason why it was, sort of a disappointment to me, is I feel like they didn't tell the story of the book yet. Because from small changes, like, okay, when his name is Jake Epping, the lead character, but when he goes back into the past, he goes by George Amberson in the book, which is a fake identity that the original discoverer of the time portal created for himself, so that every time he went back to the past, he could use it. And in the show, he just is, instead of Jake Epping, he's Jake Amberson. And it's just like, why? Just have them keep his name. Why? It's just nonsensical changes like that to me, it doesn't make the story any more graspable. It doesn't make it fly by. It doesn't do anything to really improve the narrative. It's just different because for what they just decided that was what they wanted to do, was make it different. But yeah, I would say my big gripe with the show, besides changes and a lot of those changes being not necessary, was it does not have the same feel of the book to me.
Yes, that's its biggest shortcoming. It totally missed on trying to capture what the book was, what you feel when you watch it. I think there were a couple parts that it got, like, I mean, are we doing spoilers?
Yeah.
Spoilers, right?
Yes, definitely.
So, like, the end, when he sees Sadie as an old woman. Like, they did that really well. But I feel like that only meant something to me because I read the book. I knew what was happening.
Yeah, you knew what you were supposed to feel.
They did, but not really a whole lot of time with him and Sadie in the show. And when I'm reading the book, I fall in love with Sadie every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a good actress. I can't remember her name. The girl who played her, phenomenal, but not her fault at all. But just failed there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So Sadie is another teacher that Jake meets back in the past and falls in love with, and their romance is the emotional heart of the story. Especially during the middle section where he's basically just spying on Lee Harvey Oswald intermittently, waiting for the big day. And yeah, like their relationship, it more or less has the same beats as the book. A lot of it is very, very, very sped up and truncated, but it's the same basic idea. But it doesn't have the heart like it does in the book. Like it's a very generic, like meet cute kind of romance. It's not like, oh, they're destined to be like, that was a big point that Jake tries to make in the book, especially, is like, we're destined to be together. That's really why I came back, is to meet you.
Yes.
And in the book, it's just, oh, I'm here anyway. I may as well have a girlfriend.
Right.
So another big character interaction that I have a problem with, and this one is because of the single biggest change from the book to the show, is of Bill.
Oh, yes.
So in the book, Bill Turcotte is a minor antagonist when Jake goes back to help his friend's family, which, like as I was talking about earlier, was sort of his proof of concept to make sure that you could really go back in time and change a life or death and it stay like that. I worded that really weird, but I think you know what I'm trying to get across here. So Bill tries to stop him for his own reasons, and in the book, Bill dies, and Jake essentially makes it look like Bill is the one that saved Jake's friend's family, so that people wouldn't be asking questions about Jake Amberson or George Amberson as he waited for Kennedy. In the show, Bill finds out that Jake is from the future and just becomes his little buddy and his tag along and is with him for the remainder of the series. And the reason they did that is because a lot of the book is when Jake's on his own, he's being contemplative and thinking about his plans and reading his notes and, plotting. And you can't really get that across. I mean, how many, just silent shots of him poring over pages and pages of material can you really do? And so I understand why they did it, but the relationship is weird. It doesn't make sense. They claim that they're brothers when they look nothing like each other and have completely different accents. Bill is not a compelling character. His story is sad for weird ways, and it's just a mess to me. I think that if they wanted to do that, then change some of his relationship with Sadie, like have them meet up earlier, which they did anyway, or have her find out about what's going on earlier, which they did anyway, and just have her be his confidant. Just enhance the most important relationship from the book anyway, instead of adding a completely new one that was not done well.
I like that. I really wish they had done that now. Like I knew that I didn't like it, but I didn't know what to do about it. I really like the idea of having Sadie be that person for him. If they had to have somebody.
Yeah, if there was no other solution than to make him have a constant companion, why not Sadie? Especially since the way it happens in the show is Bill eventually kind of strays from their objective of Kennedy. So Jake has him institutionalized, and it's really sad, and Bill ends up killing himself. Like, it's really dark.
It is.
And
yeah.
So he's not there with them anyway. Like, at the end of it all, it's Sadie, just like in the book. So it's all kind of for nothing. I don't know. That huge misstep. And it just makes Jake seem like just the biggest jerk in the world, because he plucked this kid from his town, teaches him about the future, tells him, well, you're not going to come back with me. I'm going to leave you in this doomed world, and hopefully we didn't ruin everything. And then institutionalizes him and then watches as he kills himself. Like, it's terrible, and it's not to Jake's character, especially not in the book.
I agree. It's just odd. I don't know. They totally missed the boat.
Yeah,
Just on so much. And it's been said. I don't really have anything to add to that.
So the other big difference that really kind of gets to me are some more of the small changes, like his car.
Yes. I was really upset about that for no reason. It's not that big of a deal, but in the book, it's just like my red Sunlighter, my red Ford Sunlighter. God, I love that car. Like it becomes part of who he is, as silly as it is to say that about a car, but I'm sure everybody has had a car like that at one point or wants to. So, why not just have a red Ford Sunlighter? I mean, if they had enough money to pay Bill Turcotte to be in the entire series.
Yeah, you can add a character and write new dialogue and change the script and everything else.
So I don't know. I don't want to seem like we're completely bashing the show. Like, if you haven't seen it,
yeah, totally watch it.
It's a Hulu exclusive, so you have to have a Hulu Plus account. I bought mine just to watch the show and then canceled it right afterwards. I think you can get a free month for new users too, so you can do that.
Right. And yeah, the show is still highly recommended. Like, it still is like head and shoulders above a lot of the direct that's on TV nowadays. It's just not what it could have been or what it should have been, if you ask us.
Do you like James Franco as Jake?
This might sound weird. I liked, a lot of the time I liked it, but to me, I was very aware that I was watching James Franco, especially since every single episode would have a commercial with James Franco in it, that stupid car commercial. Yeah. So it got forced down my throat that I'm watching James Franco playing a role. And James Franco, to me, like, he already is such a character in his real life, like when he talks about like, oh, I'm straight in my love life but gay in my art, and like makes just like such a caricature of himself and just says whatever nonsense comes to mind. Like, he is already a character. So to see, I don't see him sink into the role of Jake at all. Like, he did fine, I guess.
I see that.
But I don't know. It was disappointing to me. What did you think of him?
I liked him. Well, you would really hate the vision that I have when I'm reading the book, because that's Leonardo DiCaprio in my head. So James Franco did that to you.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked him. They couldn't get Leo, so James Franco is definitely one of my favorite actors. I definitely see what you're saying. I mean, it again, just could have been so much more. Could have. I don't know. I hate everything.
A lot of the casting was excellent, though. She wasn't just like the book, and the chemistry wasn't there, but the Sadie actress was excellent.
Yep.
Al, the original discoverer of the time portal, was played by the great Chris Cooper, and he was awesome. Who else? Lee Harvey Oswald was, to me, the best cast. Like, if you look at like old pictures of him, like, it looks just like him, and like his creepy voice, and he's just like he's described in the book, with like his smirk and his stare, like, perfect.
Yeah.
And a lot of the moments.
That guy's like Australian too. That
really Australian.
Australian accent. So.
Yeah, he was a revelation.
Incredible.
But I completely forgot what I was gonna say.
Something about Lee Harvey Oswald, or the actor who plays him.
I was gonna say, so like the casting of Lee Harvey Oswald, the show does have a lot of moments of brilliance like that it just feels like it came right off the page, and it's just like I was ever hoping for. But they're too few and far between to really, for me to be satisfied. And like the conclusion in a lot of ways was really good. The last two episodes, I think, were clearly the best in the series, and they did a lot to make the finale quite similar to the book. And I know that to turn a 1,000-page book into 8 hours of TV is not an easy feat. You have to. That's why there's a new screenwriters. You have to adapt it. It's not. You can't just take turns. It's not an audiobook yet. You can't just take turns reading it and then put it on Hulu. It's done. So I know that they had to make concessions and make changes. But it's just the choices that they made for those were misguided, I think, at times. But all in all,
it makes me wonder how much like creative, not power, but input Stephen King had, because he was semi-involved.
Yeah, I remember them talking about him. Like he talked about it in interviews, and like he definitely was part of it. So yeah, I wonder like maybe he said, yeah, make Bill Turcotte have a bigger role, or yeah, do this crazy nonsense. I always wanted it to be a yellow sunlighter, really.
Yeah.
I couldn't change it.
Write a book, though.
I'm not gonna Control F the whole manuscript. But it's still a good show. Please don't take our negative feelings just by being fanboys of the book as a reason to not watch it, because it's, like we said, still head and shoulders above most of the stuff you can see on TV. It's worth, you know, taking the time to sign up for Hulu and cancel it just to watch it. And definitely check out the book. Like I said, my wife is listening to the audiobook right now, and it's really well done too. So that's a good option if you're not a big reader or want to just listen to it in your car or whatever. But do you have any closing thoughts on 11/22/63?
I think you said it all. Read the book, watch the show, but definitely read the book.
Yep. Can't
Or
say,
listen to the book.
yeah, can't say no fairer than that. So thank you so much to Iceman for joining me. That's going to wrap it up for us today. This has been a Full Incense Network show. My name is Jericho. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. This has been a war story. Every Tuesday and Thursday you can catch more of those, but there's some content coming every single day. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, and we'll see you next time. For Iceman, my name is Jericho, and we're full.